You were once afraid of becoming like me, she whispered, placing a hand on my cheek. And now you are. Her voice was gentle, and yet full of a deep desire that made my chest feel light with anticipation. She leaned in and pressed her lips to mine, placing her rapidly warming hand on the back of my neck. I stepped into her, wrapping my arms around her. Goddess, I thought, why can't I stop this? We stood like that for what seemed a long time, our tongues brushing, my mouth and lungs filling with the breath of her deep moan. Finally, she broke the kiss and drew from my arms. I know that you love Liz, but I promise you, Cait, true long-term happiness for vampires is hard to come by. You told us that Budka glamored herself out of Skaya's life. That's because your mother taught her the one thing she needed most to know. All things are transitory for the immortal. My expression hardened. I hadn't expected her to go after my engagement. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, I whispered, turning to walk away. I love Liz, and she loves me. But I love you too, Nastasia whispered, causing me to stutter to a halt. I turned back, pressure building at the back of my eyes. The tenderness I felt in my chest turned to anger, and I clenched my hands into fists to keep them from shaking. I wanted to lash out at her, but the hurt in her expression left me flummoxed and wordless. My mouth opened, though I didn't know what I'd say. Nastasia rushed forward and slammed me to the nearest wall, causing dust and bits of plaster to fall. I grabbed the lapels of her jacket, wadding the leather under my fingers, and crushed my lips to hers. She braced her legs, pressing me harder to the wall. A soft moan escaped my lips as I let go of her and pressed my hands flat against the stucco of the building. Her lips passed across my cheek, moving to my jaw and to my throat. She bit in painfully, and I opened myself to her mentally, feeling the writhing blackness of her glamour mingle into mine. I felt her pleasure wash into me at our first draw. It wasn't like glamour. She wasn't transmuting my pain. I was feeling her need and the burst of lust and love that drove her. My head reeled for a moment as the wound in my throat closed. Liz's voice echoed in my thoughts, replete with her soft laugh. Not too close. My hand snapped up and I pushed Nastasia back. I even heaved a breath, more out of exasperation and habit than any real desire for air. No, I said, feeling the tears well in my eyes. I can't, Nas. I'm sorry. I can't. We're not good for each other. I turned my face from hers. Her aloof facade crumbled and she lashed out. Tell me you don't love me, Cait. Tell me that, and I won't bother you anymore. I looked up, tears streaming from my eyes. Guilt and want warred within me as I sought an impossible reconciliation of my feelings. I cast my gaze to the ground, toward the alleyway behind her, even up to the sky, anywhere to avoid looking at her. I what? I couldn't think, let alone speak. Fuck, I swore, my brow furrowed with the agony I felt. Finally, I squeezed my eyes shut. Nastasia's hand returned to my cheek, and I tried to flinch away, but she cupped both sides. Look at me, she murmured quietly. When I didn't open my eyes, she raised her voice. Look at me. I snapped my eyes open, finding her expression resolute. But still, a hint of tenderness colored her eyes. I just want to hear you say it. Just once. I love you, Anya, I whispered, the words coming almost unbidden from my lips. I shook my head and blinked slowly. Then I lowered my head in resignation. I do.